That's the gimmick, keeping my channel active because I don't really have anything video game wise to do. So I'm gonna do some fragrances. I'm gonna do two bubblegum fragrances, two of the newer ones that came out this year. 1 million Prive, which I think I'm gonna be the first American reviewer to do, which is weird. So you guys should step up on your game. I'm just fucking with you. And I'll do the Armani Code Profumo. Other people have already done that though, but I don't know if anyone else has done the 1 million Prive, which is kind of weird, right? Anyway, the 1 million Prive, let's start with that. Personally, I think it's the best flanker that I've smelled from them. I'm not a big fan of Intense. I think the Intense one was too much. It's too thick and pungent and made me feel like I had something stuck in my throat, you know. Didn't like it. And 1 million Cologne is just, it's whatever. I just feel there's so many other things you could get if you want that kind of vibe. Anyway, but 1 million Prive, what do I think it smells like? Does it smell like the original? I guess sort of, in a sense that it still has kind of a bubblegum smell, and it still kind of has, like, even the regular 1 million has kind of that synthetic kind of harshness to it a little bit. I mean, I think I've told this story before. 1 million is one of the only fragrances where someone has actually come up to me and told me, wow, you smell really good, but you smell really fake, which is whatever. But you know, 1 million Prive still has a bit of that bubblegum, still like a bubblegum smell, and it still has some kind of that, a little bit of that synthetic harshness. I think the bubblegum smell in this one is kind of like a cherry bubblegum though, which I enjoy because I love the smell of, when I actually ate candy, I love the smell of like cherry kind of candy. I think it kind of smells something almost like a cherry bubblegum-ish kind of version of like Herod that is covering a sort of very buttery kind of tonka bean. Like obviously there's tonka bean, at least to me. I'm not, you know, like I said, so many people could do fragrance, like pick out notes better than me, but say pure tonka that came out recently. The tonka bean in that, it's like that's very buttery, and you know what I mean? This is also has a very buttery tonka bean kind of smell, not the kind of more, some smell like more roasted, or some smell maybe even more animalic or like powdery, you know, or even potentially funky. This is definitely like a very buttery kind of like edible kind of tonka bean that is underneath this, you know, kind of like a little bit of a bubble gum, and you know, with a little bit of that harshness from like you know, there's some tobacco in here too, and you know, kind of like almost kind of, it reminds me of Herod and something else, but I can't. I was trying to go through my collection and like smell random things, and I just, you know, when you smell so many hundreds of things, it's hard to pick out. But kind of like a cherry bubblegum kind of Herod that is covering a, you know, buttery tonka bean that, you know, then goes down into like, you know, just a sweet fragrance. Performance-wise, longevity was good. No problem with that. And the projection though was pretty disappointing. Especially when you consider, you know, how good the original is. I thought it was pretty bad. Pretty meh. It was okay, but considering what a beast mode the original is, I would say it was pretty disappointing. Anyway, compliment-wise, yeah, I did. I got a lot of compliments on it. I had a number of people stop me. But at the same time, you know what I mean? They had to be a little bit closer. You know what I mean? The unsolicited compliments were only so long. But most people enjoyed it. I like it because I like the smell of cherry. I love cherry tobacco kind of stuff smelling. And I thought it was very kind of like snuggly and edible and kind of almost delicious a little bit. So I liked it. Armani Code Profumo. That's one that's, you know, it's been getting a lot of hype. That I would say the bubblegum in that, it's kind of like, you know, it's a bubblegum, it's like a very fresh kind of powdery bubblegum smell. Like if you were to say, let's compare the bubblegum, like let's say if the bubblegum that I just described in 1 million Prive was I don't know if they still sell it anymore, but say like a cherry big league chew, just chewing that kind of bubblegum, right? This would be kind of like a very kind of like imagine you had like the pouch of your big league chew, and you ate all the ambery orange kind of like flavor bubble gum, and all that was left is like the powder in your pouch. But let's say your pouch had a little bit of like leather in it, or like a little bit of like a roasted tonka bean smells in the air, something like that, and you smell the powder from that orange kind of ambery vanilla-y bubble gum in the pouch. Do you know what I mean? Like, but it's kind of like a leather pouch, I guess. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of what it smells like a little bit. So it's like a very fresh, like the bubblegum's already gone, but you still have the leftover like powdery, like little like residue of the bubblegum that was in it. But anyway, yeah, no, it's like fresh, it's powdery. It's kind of like a fresh powdery bubblegum version of the original, I guess you could say. I don't really like the original Armani code is okay, I guess, but I'm not a big fan of the flankers. I don't have a lot of experience with the. I think there was a special blend one that had more tobacco, but I never got around to really trying that one too much. But I don't really care for any of the flankers of Armani code. Just the regular one is okay to me. But this one was nice. You know, it's very fresh. You know, it tingles the nose a little. The projection is, you know, pretty decent. So it tingles the nose. You get that kind of fresh, and you know, there's like orange blossom, I think, in this, and you know what I mean, lavender. So it's like fresh. It's kind of inviting. It's kind of yummy because it's kind of bubblegum. But then when you smell deeper into it, you know, you get kind of like the warm leather and the tonka bean in this instead of being buttery like 1 million previous, kind of like roasted, kind of like maybe potentially smoky a little bit, but just warm and inviting. Do you know what I mean? Powdery, and the leather's kind of warm, so it's got a little bit of snuggliness to it once you get through all that you know, the fresh kind of powdery bubble gum. So it's still snuggly in its own way, and as it's transitioning to, you get some of the nutmeg that makes it a little more delicious, I guess you could say, and potentially edible. It's not as synthetic smelling as 1 million Prive. 1 million Prive still has that kind of synthetic harshness. I don't think that Code Profumo is like synthetic or bad smelling. You know, the only thing that tingles your nose is the fresh powder instead of the potentially 1 million has the, you know, just the syntheticness of it, I guess you could say. Compliment-wise, great compliments. I've gotten a ton of compliments on 1 million Armani Code Profumo. Like I said, performance-wise, it's pretty good. I feel like it's a little expensive for what it is, but yeah, I get lots of compliments on it. About the worst compliments I've gotten on it, or comments, I should say in this case, I have had a few girls tell me that they thought it was kind of sweet, and they thought it was kind of girly, which I've also had girls said they thought it was really fucking sexy, and they were like, it made them like smile. Whatever, they're good compliments, let's say that. But yeah, generally everything about the worst I can say. Some people thought it was kind of girly, and some people thought it was kind of too sweet. But other than that, yeah, pretty good compliment wise. Really good actually, I would say. What do I like better? No, compliment wise, the Profumo is much better that I've seen, and I'm tempted to say that I like the Prive better because I'm kind of predisposed to liking cherry kind of smells and tobacco, so it's kind of hard to say, right? The only thing is though, I will say, whereas Armani Code Profumo, I enjoy the whole thing pretty much. There is a part of 1 million Prive where for me personally, it has a bit of a jammy, pasty, balmy aspect to it sometimes, and I really dislike fragrances when they get too balmy or I get like a jam or a paste kind of smell out of it. I know one fragrance that the community tends to love a lot is that Burberry London, and I don't get it on paper, but whenever I've worn that, I get kind of a paste or a jam kind of smell from it, and I dislike that. And vice versa though, I guess weird. For 1 million Prive, I get a lot of the jam and pasty smell on paper, but on my skin, thankfully it's not as much because I dislike when I get that. But yeah, it's hard to say because I really like when things give me a cherry smell. You know what I mean? But that's kind of my opinion. I guess I think I'm the first one to do it, right? Because I don't know if anyone else has. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I can admit that I'm wrong. I'm a man, right? Anyway, that's kind of my opinion. Keeping my channel active. Thanks for watching.